The title of the film is indicating that 4 fantastic people have been mentioned in the movie. One of them is Reed, who is also called Mr. Fantastic. He possessed the ability as his body had much flexibility. The other fantastic person's name is Johnny, and he is known as a Human Torch. His talent was this: he used to transform into fire. The third one was Ben, who was called the Thing. He used to transform himself into a stone. The fourth one was a girl named Susan, who used to be invisible, and she was known as Invisible Woman. Reed and Ben moved to an office at the start of the movie, and that was Doctor's office. He was astronaut. Actually, Mr. Fantastic Reed used to think that many changes have been seen on the Earth decades ago due to the clouds in space. There is also a girl named Susan who had an affair with Reed, but she has an affair with this doctor named Dr. Doom, whom they both had visited. They had been classmates, but Dr. Doom had grown rich because he could risk anything to get money. Reed wanted to explore the space, so he talks to Dr. Doom about it. He says, "You will have to offer me 75% if you want to do as such." Then Reed agrees. Now it is seen that Reed and Dr. Doom get ready to fly to space. Then it is witnessed that a space storm is breaking out in the space. Ben is outside the station. They try their best to rescue Ben. At the same time, the space station's shield is not activated by them. That space storm affects the inside of the space station. Then it is noticed that they descend on the Earth. Having a bad condition, Ben restores his senses after 3 days. And Susan's health condition was also not good enough. Reed brings for her son flowers. Johnny is also there. And a nurse checks her body temperature, which was high. In the evening, they both go for a walk, but his body catches fire because of the strong wind. He directly moves to ice, so he may blow out his body fire. On the opposite side, it is seen that Dr. Doom is enraged. He was concerned that the addition of Reed would result in a loss for his company. But he also has mysterious powers that allow him to move things without touching them. Then it is shown that Reed and Susan meet each other at a place. Reed is saying to Susan, "I am satisfied to see you happy with that new man." Susan realizes, strangely thinking, he is not feeling bad. She is angered. And she makes herself invisible and furry. She was quite unaware about her power. A bottle is also fallen down in furry by her. But Reed catches that bottle, spreading his hand. He does not let it fall. Here Reed also comes to know first time that his body has flexibility. Then Johnny also arrives, who had also known right now about his body transformation into fire. Then 3 of them go to Ben, who had locked himself in a room. He does not unlock the door for them and runs outside, breaking the window. He directly goes to his wife, who is scared, seeing him. He is dejected. Next day, he is sitting near the edge of a bridge. Then a man appears there who wanted to commit suicide. Ben moves forward to save him. But an accident occurs there at the same time. 3 of them were going to Ben's house. 4 of them begin to stop the occurrence of the accident there. The public is left astonished seeing them, but also applaud for them. Then Ben's wife comes there, who puts her marriage ring there, taking it off. Ben is saddened on it. But Reed consoles him, saying, "Don't worry. We will also be converted into normal being as in the previous time." Now television has started to broadcast their news. The public had started to call them their ideal. Then it is observed that they all 4 go at a place. And the people were standing there to see them, holding the chart papers. But they were also feeling fear from Ben along with it. He was transformed into Stone Man. Coming there, Dr. Doom asks Susan to come with him. Reed attempts to stop them while coming there. But the lights begin to fluctuate because of his annoyance. It means that man had also possessed the powers. Then Ben approaches there, who was completely transformed into stone and strongest man. Being afraid from him, Dr. Doom leaves from there. He had also started to sense as his body is converted into metal. When he shares it with the doctor, The doctor tells him that you will be transformed into metal within 2 or 3 days. I am hearing about this disease for the first time. So I will have to transfer this news to the senior doctors, as this disease may not become the threat of life for anyone. Now that man did not want to reveal it before anyone, so he kills the doctor there. Coming back, he begins to stitch the spacesuit that they had to wear in the space, so they may put on these spacesuits according to their powers. Reed shows to all a machine though which they could again be transformed into normal humans. But he tells, it is also a threat. Either we will be converted into normal being or we will possess many more strengths. Then it is revealed that some people wanted to dominate Dr. Doom's company. Here that man knows that he possesses such strengths as he can store the electricity. Going there, he puts that man dead, giving him electric shock. Contrarily, it is seen that Johnny goes outside to perform his bike stunts. Even he was forbidden, while other 3 want to call him back. Afterwards, they come back to the house. But it observed that Ben begins to take interest in a girl while sitting in a pub at night. Actually, that girl was blind. So she begins to talk without any fear, arriving at Ben. On the other side, it is witnessed that Dr. Doom used to detest Reed. So he set CCTV camera in his office to keep an eye on him. He moves to Ben and says, Reed does not want to convert you into normal being. He only loves Susan. Then Susan and Reed come there. Seeing them, Ben leaves after being furious. Being angry, he begins the experimentation on himself, using that machine. But the experiment is failed because of Hat machine's low battery. It is seen now that man calls Ben again to conduct an experiment on him. During this, he himself sucks up all the radiations which emit from Ben's body at that time. And he becomes more powerful. Here Ben loses his power to a great extent. Then that man takes Reed into his office, attacking him. He places him into a cold place. Then he shoots a missile in order to search for Johnny. Johnny notices that missile at a distance, standing with his sister. He gets awareness that we will be ruined if it is dropped here. Then he jumps off the building. Falling down, he increases his body temperature to an extent that he may fly. He falls aside into water and missile is also exploded there. Now Benz was having a soft corner for Reed. He again moves into that machine to save him. And he comes out while transforming into Stone Man. There is going a quarrel between that man and Susan when he goes to that man. Going there, Ben beats him brutally and falls down. That man had transformed into metal completely. And he takes a stand to face Ben. Johnny also reaches there. Then Reed asks him to emit the fire from your body. And Susan also directs the flames towards that man, using her power. That man's body begins to melt because he was made of metal. Then Ben throws cold water on him, which freezes him there. Then it is seen, they are very excited, how did they beat their enemy down? Then they go at a party where Reed suggests Susan to marry him. It is also revealed that Dr. Doom was still alive. Here the part 1 of this movie completes here. As the part 2 of the movie starts, it is seen that a gleaming object from space is descending towards RF. And it is turning the places dark where it is passing. This news was traveling everywhere. Otherwise, there was also another major news that Susan and Reed are getting married. Susan was extremely happy for her marriage, while Reed wanted to explore which object is darkening the places everywhere. And he was also conducting research on it. Then Susan's brother Johnny comes to him and says, arrange a get-together for me before your marriage. Otherwise, I will reveal everything to my sister. That you are not excited for marriage. Reed says, okay. I will arrange. Then that gleaming is again observed, which is passing over a house. 3 of them are celebrating a function there. Then Susan appears with a general. That general brings 4 of them with him. He begins to tell them something about that gleaming. He says to Reed, we should build a sensor to discover it. Reed says, not now. It is my marriage time. Knowing it, Susan is also excited that he also has some sort of excitement. But Reed was unstoppable, so he begins to build that sensor, hiding himself from Susan. Now it is observed that wedding ceremony has started and an alarm beeps in Reed's cell phone. It meant that gleaming of the cosmic energy is nearer to them. As that object is being nearer, then the whole city faces the blackout. There was also a flying helicopter for the video recording of the marriage ceremony. It is crashed there. Fortunately, the life of everyone remains safe. Coming there on time, Ben stops its crashing. Now it is seen that Reed sends Johnny after that gleaming. So he may detect what is it. Then a humanoid alien is observed there, which has been named Silver Surfer in this part of the movie. Above all, that humanoid alien takes Johnny to the space, lifting him from the neck. Then he throws him violently towards the earth. As being a superhuman, he has survived. He tells about the reality of Silver Surfer to everyone coming on Earth. Everyone had known that they have committed a mistake to touch this object. Now it is noticed that Susan is got annoyed from Reed. She asks him, is our future bright with each other or not? Saying it furiously, he moves to her brother, whose condition was worst after confronting Silver Surfer. His powers are transferred into Susan when she touches him to check his body temperature. Getting the fire in her body, she is able to fly. Then Johnny again touches her, so his power is reverted. On the opposite side, Reed is shown, who is conducting a research on that humanoid alien. He comes to know that the planet did not maintain more than 8 days where this humanoid alien visited. And it devastated. Now we will have to stop it. That humanoid alien was living under the earth while digging. He had also created many hollows in the surface of the planet. They try to figure out where he'll make the next hollow by observing the pattern he's using. They detect it, and Silver Surfer also appears there as well. Johnny begins to run after him and strikes with Reed. So their powers are interchanged between them. It is observed there that a roller coaster was going to fall due to Silver Surfer. But Johnny lifts it up with his full strength and Reed solders it, using his fire power. It is noticed here that Johnny is again losing his strength here. Then General approaches there and says, "Don't worry. I have called for help." Then Dr. Doom says to them while coming there, "I can assist you." And they all four have no other choice except it, because the whole world was ruining. And they needed someone for their help. He says, "I have met him." Then he plays the video for all four of them, in which it has been shown that Silver Surfer was telling him, the whole world is soon going to destroy. Afterwards, he attacks him. He reveals all that his powers are related to a boat. Segregating it from the boat, he will be quite weakened. Reed has got worried, thinking how it will happen. Now Reed and that man start working against Silver Surfer. They detect it where this humanoid alien is going to create the hollow. He comes to Susan when they are making a plan against Silver Surfer. He says to her, "I have not other choice." Then General witnesses Susan with humanoid alien. He throws a missile on him. Stopping this, Silver Surfer attacks on the military in return. Then it is seen that they disconnect the relatedness of Silver Surfer with that boat forever. Military imprisons Silver Surfer, and Fantastic Four is not allowed to meet him. Then Susan thinks of an idea to see him, making her invisible. She observes there that a military officer is maltreating him. Suddenly, someone comes there to meet him, and that humanoid alien is left alone. Here Susan was conversing with that humanoid alien in isolation, enabling her. Susan comes to know while talking with Silver Surfer that he is serving for someone. He tells, "I have to ruin the planets to secure my life." Then Susan asks him, "Why did you rescue me from missile attack if you bring destruction?" Silver Surfer tells her, "You resemble a girl who was my beloved." He tells, "My controller name is Galactus, who is recently arriving here." Then it is observed that he has come nearer the planet Earth. Contrarily, it is seen that General had allowed that man to work on boat. But Dr. Doom betrays them, boarding on the boat. He himself begins to steer that boat. He kills the general there and leaves while devastating. Now Fantastic Four is worried and he wanted to bring Boat back at any cost. So they make Silver Surfer release. Boarding in an airplane, they begin to pursue that man. It is seen here that there is great battle among them, and that evil man attacks Silver Surfer with a spear. At this time, Susan rescues him, coming in front of him. Being brutally injured, she was soon going to die. It is also noticed that Galactus had reached Earth. Johnny says to him, "I will go to fight with him." Then he captures the powers of other fantastic people. Then he fights with them. As a result, his relatedness with Boat is ended. But it's observed that poor Susan is dead there. But Silver Surfer revives her, using his powers. Then he flies to space in order to stop Galactus, because he was unable to reach on the Earth completely. There is a great fight between them and Galactus is ended with a big explosion. Then everything comes on its routine on the Earth. Reed and Susan again marry in China and begins to live blissfully. But it is revealed that Silver Surfer is still alive in the space. And the part 2 of the movie also completes with it. Now the part 3 of the movie begins and a kid Reed is shown in the classroom, who is expressing his aims. He tells, "I want to be like this that. I may teleport myself at any time or anywhere. And I am also working on such a device." Then teacher says to him, "Leave the world of imaginations. And tell me again tomorrow what you want to be." He also has a boy in his class named Ben who had a great quarrel with his elder brother. Ben hears a sound as the night falls. Going into his scrapyard, Reed is stealing his power electronic device. Now Ben could punish Reed on this stealing. But this electronic device belonged to his brother who used to beat him. So he gives it to him. Here a good friendship bond is developed between them. And they both begin to build this machine together. Then it is seen that a few years are passed and they both have grown up. One day, there is held a science exhibition in their school where they also take their machine there. All were making fun of their device. Suddenly, 2 persons appear there. The girl's name is Susan between them. That man says to her, "I want to award you scholarship." It was pleasurable to hear by Reed. So he is extremely excited. Then he goes there for study. One day, he is in library and Susan is also there. He starts to tell her about a book. Then it is noticed that professor who had awarded Reed scholarship. The funders demand the professor to give them a reasonable thing in its place. Then we will be able to help out your firm. Then professor tells them about the device of his student, that you will get much benefit from it. There is also a boy named Victor and professor leads him to Reed. And Susan is also there. He says to him, "Work on this project, combing the efforts of all 3. Here it is revealed that Victor detests this world. And he wanted the destruction of the world. He is also here because he was interested in Susan. On the other side, it is observed that Professor's son Johnny is driving his father's car. And he damages his father's car in an accident. In return, Professor asks him to join the project group of the kids with us. Then they all 4 begin to work on that project. Meantime, it is seen that Reed and Susan had befriended closely. And Victor used to envy, seeing it. The project was completed perfectly. And they chose an ape to carry out the experiment using this device. Their plan included resurrecting the ape after he had been launched into space. But the funders of this project suggest that why not? NASA should be included in it. But no one agrees with it because NASA will be credited for this project in such a way. They say, world remembers that man who stepped at the first time on moon. But no one knows who built that spaceflight which led that man there. At the first, we all 3 will go to the another world. So the world may remember us. We will be the first human being to step into another world. And you may include the efforts of NASA later. Reed wanted to take Ben with him, because both friends had struggled hard together for many years. When they all 4 begin to put their flag, reaching there. Then they view a green light which was inside its surface. And it had begun to spread in its surroundings. Now it is noticed that Victor starts to put his hand into that green lava substance. As a result, that lava is burst and they all four begin to run. But Victor falls into that substance. Now all three try to come back, but spacecraft is not receiving the signals. Seeing them, Susan helps them as they may come back on Earth in some way. The radiations of space also descend on the Earth with them as they arrive there. Susan is also affected by them. Now the various superhuman strength had penetrated in them. And they were bound at a place. Releasing his hand, Reed goes to Ben. But he notices that Ben has totally converted into Stone Man. Reed says to him, "I will bring the things into their normal form." Then the funders of this project reach there. They tell, "We will revert you, but you will have to care us in return." Then they train all three of them for 1 year. These funders wanted to build their own military, so they were making Quantum Gate. And they select Johnny as a warrior. Susan reveals it, going to the professor, but he does not want any battle on the part of his son. Then he requests Susan, "Call back Reed so he may help us, coming here." But they were annoyed with Reed, who had fled leaving them behind. But Professor is dejected here and says, "Care to an extent. Johnny is your brother. Do you expect his death in any battle?" Then Susan begins to search for him as being sentimental. And by good fortune, she knows about his location. Susan asks his help that we have to bake a cake. So he helps Reed in baking a cake. Now it is seen that some of the scientists move into that world. And they find Victor there. Then they bring Victor back with them. They ask him, "How did you survive for a long time?" He tells them, "There were such types of the radiations which had secured my life. I was getting strength along with it." The spacesuit worn by him before departing to space had converted into a steel suit, which had shielded his body completely. Victor tells, "I wanted to start my life and I don't care if this world is ruined for it." Then he begins to hit those people violently, standing near him. And he also reaches that quantum gate along with it. Professor elaborates, "You can also live with us." But he puts Professor into death in fury and flies to another world, picking up that quantum gate. Going to another world, Victor begins to pull everything from this world. Then it is observed that they all four move to another world, using another path. And they begin to fight with him. And they beat Victor down there. They had got success in their expedition. And the part 3 of the movie is also completed on this scene.